Laguna. Laguna has always been a favorite of mine. I know it's always been a favorite of Andy's. So coming off of Sebring and my accident there and our inability to race, it was great to get back to a track that we're both very comfortable with. So, going into Laguna, I was very confident. We were back in the primary car. We had some anomalies thrown our way with some new camber restrictions, which we were not expecting. We've built high quality setups for the car at Laguna. And unfortunately, because of the new camber restrictions, we had to throw those setups out and quickly find a setup that would work for the car. My qualifier, when you have 39 cars on about a 2.2 mile track, gets really, really challenging to get some clean air. Unfortunately, that reflected itself in my qualifying time. I qualified as P11 in class. That was P23 overall for the grid. Andy got in the car, and he got a very brief window to get a flyer out there, and he got us in P3 before I think his session suffered from full course yellows or I think it was full course reds. Race one, we had 2 opening pace laps. It didn't look like it was going to start promising. Cars weren't gridding up right away on our second pace lap, so I was a little concerned. Green flag flew and we went off racing. Turn 2 is turn 2. And, naturally, unfortunately, the party started down there, and it was about trying to get out of that as cleanly as possible. Cars were spinning everywhere, dust was flying, just trying to find a hole to escape out of that mess and get away from it. I did that and was able to keep pace for another lap or so before we went full course yellow because they'd clean that up. We had 1 restart, kept hitting my marks, focusing on what I needed to do, then handed the car over to Andy.
After the good start from Slade, he picked up 5 spots altogether with the melee in turn 1 and turn 2 technically. Then we got a really nice pit stop. We have a time pit stop, and as close as you can be to that time pit stop is a huge advantage. And a lot of the teams will lose seconds during their driver change, and we came out of the pits maybe with like 2/10 over the minimum. So it was really well executed by everybody. So that gained us probably another 3 or 4 positions just on the pit stop. And then thankfully it stayed green long enough for me to go and chase down the leader eventually at the end of the race and bring home our first win, which is a first for me in our partnership since we've been co-driving the Lamborghini. Our last win at Laguna Seca, he brought it home to the checker, so it was nice for me to get a chance to bring it to the checker this time.
We started to get towards the last about 6 minutes of the race, and we knew a caution was coming, and the guys around me are starting to get excited already, and I'm like, nope, no, I have to see that checkered, and I have to see Andy and Sparkle Farts go underneath that checkered before I'm gonna get excited. And then I got very excited.
Race 2 was very similar. Pretty good start, picked up a couple spots. 1 out of class, 1 in class. We were like P2, I think, in Pro-Am during my stint. Things were going pretty well. The pit stop wasn't our best. It was a little shaky entry for me, and I had trouble getting the car to downshift, and so unfortunately left Slade in the wrong gear in the box. But he adapted really well to it, and we still came out in position, didn't lose any spots.
Andy handed me the car in P2. And I went out and went to work. There was an incident on track which caused us to go full course caution. When you've built a delta and you've got good cushion behind you and you're running down the guy in front, the last thing you want to see is a caution come about. On the restart, it was about being defensive enough to make sure that nobody got on the inside of me coming into turn 11. It seemed like the restarts were a little late. We went back to work. We had another full course caution with, I believe, 4 minutes or maybe like 5 minutes.
3 minutes to go, I think.
Remaining. Clock kept ticking down.
I was shocked that they did that. I was like, they're gonna do a green, white, checkered for us? I was surprised that went as well as it did too. I thought that was gonna be for sure another immediate full course before they'd even get to the checker.
I could see P1. He was 1 car in front of me. There was a pro car between myself and Macintosh. He was sitting in P1. Took a look at it as the restart happened and decided it was the better choice to run quasi-defensive and just finish a clean race. Ultimately, Mark took P2 We took P3, Macintosh took P1. We ran a healthy race, we ran a clean race. The car's in good shape, we're in good shape. You know, he and I had decided we're here to gain points. We're here to run clean. We're not going to put the car at risk. We can't afford to. So our objective was to put points on the board.
You know, him and I both talked afterwards, like we certainly didn't see that outcome necessarily coming as the weekend was going along. You know, I was hopeful that we could get some top 5 finishes. But to come away with a win in that first race was really everybody just pulling together and doing their part.
Way to go.
So
Good drive.
really proud of that one.
Watkins is next. We're excited to head back to Watkins. We've got a test ahead of time, so that's gonna give us time to feel out the car, feel out the track, build a setup that works for both Andy and I. Rumor is we're gonna be testing a new tire. So those are always exciting, especially when you're at Watkins Glen.